Hello, this is Daniel Lee, OGT, Monster Hunter, and friend of OGL.
Friend
How
and
you
fellow
doing?
monster hunter.
Yeah, I literally have kind of hunted monsters in 17th century graveyards in the middle of the night
I do remember that.
with my proton pack. I mean, my oxygen bottle.
I mean, it's a blunt weapon. You could use that to hold monsters off. But
Oh, I'm going to
yep,
not re-release it, but I'm going to re I'm going to revamp, re-advertise Chinese Graveyard when Halloween
yeah,
gets
it's a
here.
great video. That is definitely the video that sort of made me fall in love with the channel. That was before I was a part of it.
It was
But yeah, and I've always been a fan of Dark Legends, Cryptids, huge cryptozoology buff. So for those wondering, a cryptid is an animal unknown to science that is purported to exist. And I've heard a number of stories about people seeing unknown animals or monsters in wartime. It's
Bigfoot,
it
Jersey Devil,
yeah.
Chupacabra.
It's interesting because obviously in war people's nervous systems are going to be stressed, so it's possible that they could misinterpret things, but war will also push people into areas that they're not familiar with, so they actually may end up encountering something that they've never seen before. So
Or it could be
it
all the
sounds
acid that the government was feeding the soldiers
that is
in
true as well.
Vietnam.
Combined with the heat and the again just the general stress of war. But again, there are areas in the world, Amazon jungles in particular, that we are practically impenetrable, that we haven't gotten in there yet, where are rumored to exist things unknown to science. So don't write
Well,
anything off. There,
we haven't inhabited them, but Josh Gates or Jeremy Wade one have been there.
I'm sorry.
Josh Gates being the host for Expedition Unknown and Expedition Truth, and Jeremy Wade being the River Monsters.
Yeah, I mean there are guys that have gone deeper than others have gone before, but there are still areas where there
Yeah,
are
I
uncontacted tribes that will straight up shoot you if you come too close, like with 7 foot
yeah,
arrows. Yeah,
I
Amazon
understood
is
your
a
context.
yeah, Amazon's a very dangerous place. But yeah, I mean, there's still so much of the world we haven't explored. There's still finding new ecosystems under the ocean with some absolutely crazy creatures. So yeah, this so because something may seem fanciful doesn't mean it doesn't have some grounding in reality. So I'm very interested in seeing what this encounter is. This is apparently in the Vietnam War. Some soldiers found themselves face to face with some creatures that they could not identify. I'm again not sure about the details, so I guess I'm going to learn that with you guys.
All right,
Shall we? Shall we dive in, sir?
yeah, let's roll it down here. Where you at? There you are. Good. Kind of shrink us a little bit.
All right.
Uh, come back here, Danny. Where are we supposed to be? So this is our watch together room, by the way, everyone. So one of the perks in becoming a member of the channel is we're going to set up 2 times a week for at least an hour where I'll just put the link out there for the members only, and we'll come in here and up to 10 people can be on webcams up the bottom and 50 people can be in the room, counting to 10, so 50 in all. And everyone can type in a chat bar like that. Hello. Helen. Hello. Play. Pool, please. I'll do it. But don't have to be told. All right.
We have a membership option right now, guys. It's $4.99 a month. Perks are still it's still growing, but yeah, we're working on a thing where a couple times a week we'll hang out here and watch together and watch some cool stuff, listen to some cool music.
Or just
Again,
talk or whatever. I mean,
of course, let us hang out. But again,
And
money is scarce nowadays, so if you can't afford the membership, like and a subscribe means a lot. Definitely want to hear your comments. We love engaging with you guys in the comments. So
yeah,
take
that's
time.
we make it a point to. I don't think there are any comments on the channel that we haven't replied to.
I don't believe so. We
If
don't
there
always hit
are,
them.
we missed it.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes us, a day or two to get to them, but we always do. All
Yes.
right. So let us. I'm sorry.
No, I just said yes. No, I said yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to Vietnam.
Let's do it.
Take your Agent Orange peel and your acid.
In 1964, the United States entered into the conflict in Vietnam in an attempt to prevent the spread of communism. Foreign policy, economic interests, national fears, and geopolitical strategies were also major factors for the invasion
Or no reason at all. Sorry.
of Vietnam. During the war, U.S. and Communist Viet Cong and North Vietnamese Army forces stalked each other in the jungle. But they were not alone. Something was stalking them. What mysterious creature was witnessed by both sides and feared by the locals? Are these accounts credible?
Well, can't they see that's Gene Simmons? Sorry, Gene.
Yeah, Kiss was going through a rough phase at that period, but obviously,
This is the disco time.
we did a previous reaction to a video where German and Russian soldiers had to band together to fight off a pack of wolves that had become man eaters because of their primary food source being driven out by the conflict and the fact that there are all of these dead and dying human bodies for them to feast on. So again, the idea that there would be could be a predatory animal, stalking a unit in wartime because they knew that these units would very often leave food, and by food I mean dead or dying bodies in their wake. It is certainly not out of the realm of possibility. It does make sense from a biological standpoint.
Definitely.
What similarities are there between this creature and other legends around the world?
Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, former soldier, Marine Corps Scout Sniper, history professor, historian, and book author. And we've answered these questions and other issues on this segment of Forgotten History.
As long as man has had language, there have been stories, oral histories of time, and of primate-like humanoids from every country on every continent. While North America has Bigfoot, or the Sasquatch, the Himalayan regions of India, Nepal, and Tibet have the Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman. Australia has the Yowie, and there is a similar creature in Southeast Asia.
Shout out Aussie Army.
I was thinking the same
In the
thing.
Kon Tum province of Vietnam, as well as Laos, Thailand, and Cambodia, there are many reports from locals and U.S. troops
Tech Tech.
of a human-like ape hybrid creature the locals call
The Tech Tech.
Ngoi Rong, or the Forest People. In Cambodia, the mysterious creatures are called Tek Tek. It is said to live in the far northern parts of the national park, frightening and bizarre creatures to behold with a healthy appetite for humans. All the reports from these respective countries and witnesses all follow a similar theme, where the creature appears to be bipedal and covered in grayish-red hair. Reports are that hideous roars are often heard at night, as hungry tek-teks start biting their own flesh, or perhaps feeding upon unfortunate people.
He did miss the skunk ape.
See, I was thinking the same thing. There are
in
multiple
Florida.
humanoid type creatures in America. Bigfoot's the most famous, but Florida skunk ape, yeah, I definitely remember that as well.
And there was some kind of animal in the Appalachian Mountains that attacked some gold miners in the It's got a big split on the top of the Appalachia. But anyway,
Yeah.
One story is that the tek-tek could imitate human voices and then lure humans into being killed by calling out to people in the area. This story is very similar to the legend of the Rakshasa in India, a shape-shifting, human-like demon that can appear as anyone a person would trust to bring it close enough to kill and devour the person. Or the yen in China, like Australia's Yowie. The orange pendek in Indonesia. The Rikolaka, or a type of werewolf.
the orange pendek is real, right? I didn't think that was a legend.
I don't think so.
I thought that was a descendant of Gigantopithecus.
Right.
Maybe not.
I'll
Surely
have to look
not.
that up. Not sure.
In Finland. All creatures steeped in myth and folklore.
Hold on. Who's
like
the Nightwish version?
Yowie. The orange pendek in Indonesia.
I'm sorry, what was that?
He said Finland, and we missed it. I said, who is the Nightwish version?
I don't know specifically, but Nightwish Army, shout out. Finland.
The Rikolaka, or a type of werewolf in Finland. All creatures steeped in myth and folklore. Sometimes science can explain those mysteries, but not always. Similar stories were told for centuries about the wild men of Borneo, until science identified the orangutan as being the culprit. Could this creature just be a new species as yet uncategorized? The discovery of the mountain gorilla in Africa, which Europeans had heard of and believed was simply folklore, took place in the Virunga Mountains, and it was discovered on October 17, 1902 by German explorer Robert von Beringe. Even more recently was the Batang Toru in Sumatra, a species of orangutan rediscovered in 1997. One eyewitness in the late 1960s, claiming to have seen the beast known as the Mountain Man, was Army Sergeant Gary Linderer, who is the publisher of Behind the Lines, a magazine that specializes in the history of U.S. military special operations. Linderer served in Vietnam with the long-range reconnaissance patrols of the 101st Airborne Division and was once on a 6-man patrol with the unit in Vietnam. While moving through the thick jungle, he claimed to have looked into deep-set eyes on a prominent brow, 5 feet tall with long muscular arms. He stated that the creature walked upright with broad shoulders.
All right, so I don't care what the angle is or illusion, that depiction is way over 5 foot tall. I mean,
Yeah.
that's King Kong's little cousin there. I mean,
Yeah, that thing might be 5 foot tall. No, because if that guy there is of average height, that thing is like 6 feet tall, hunched over.
yeah,
So
I mean,
it'd be near 10 feet tall when it stood upright. So yeah, that's the art and the
taking
story
up his entire view of sight.
Yeah, the art and the story aren't synchronizing here. A couple things I did want to bring up. Things like this, there are sorts of possibilities. I watched a special on the Joe Rogan podcast where he had someone on that had actually had contact with previously uncontacted tribes in the Amazon, and he said they would communicate with animal calls. But he said you can tell because if you're in the jungle enough, you learn what certain animal calls sound like. So he said if you hear an animal call that sounds a little off, run, because that means it is the tribes that are using animal calls because they want to communicate with each other without you knowing. So it's possible that these soldiers might have encountered, again, a previously unknown tribe. It is possible that this could be some sort of primate that would use something similar where they would learn how to imitate sort of a variation of a human sound to bring people in. Again, most apes aren't violent by nature, but for instance, baboons can become man-eaters, and a gorilla is strong enough to literally tear a human limb from limb. And again, if in wartime the primary food source is driven out, for instance, by Agent Orange killing crops, you never know what an animal will do what it has to do to survive. So these things very well could have taken to, hunting whatever meat was available, which could have been the humans. So I'm not saying it actually happened. I'm not saying this, but it's not as scientifically implausible as you might think, I guess is what I'm saying.
And a heavy torso. The others with him said that what he saw was a rock ape, but being familiar with the species, he was certain that this was not a rock ape. Another report came from Army Sergeant Thomas Jenkins, who reported that his platoon was attacked by these apes throwing stones at them. Even the Viet Cong and the NVA soldiers reported sightings of the reddish-brown, hair-covered Ngoi Rung on a scale that forced the Communist Party's Secretariat to order scientists to investigate. Many accounts exist of these reddish hair-covered primates, standing between 4 to 6 feet tall, living in the jungle. Some soldiers on both sides claimed to have killed a few of these creatures.
Well, I would like to point out that right now in America, all of America, they are legitimately, Bigfoot is known as an endangered species and it's illegal to kill them.
Interesting.
They are protected. I know for sure in like the area of Yellowstone and all that, Bigfoot is a protected endangered species.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot recognized by the government
as an endangered species. That is interesting.
Yes, definitely, 100%.
I was also going to say that I've mentioned before, the idea of monsters preying on soldiers. In a lot of cases, what it seems to be, it could also very easily be they happened upon these creatures that just wanted these people away from their homes, from their families, from their younglings. There's no guarantee that these things were actively hostile, because quite frankly, if I was just sort of chilling with my, let's say I was chilling with my mother and my sister and my nephew when he was a little kid, and some rowdy people came by, starting fights and stuff, I'd be throwing rocks at them too. It's like, I gotta get the fuck away from my family. So, again, that's, when you're in the jungle, you're always going to be intruding on someone else's habitat. You got to be prepared to deal with that.
In 1969...
I'm sorry?
That's why you need to go to the desert, a horse with no name.
Exactly.
Naturalist John McKinnon, who was well known for his discoveries of previously unknown mammal and exotic bird species in Asia, as well as in Vietnam, discovered similar odd footprints in Borneo's jungles, which the locals call Batatut or Ujit. In 1974, one such investigator, Dr. Vo Ki, a naturalist, ornithologist, and environmental researcher from Hanoi, discovered a suspected Ngoi Rung footprint on the forest floor and made a plaster cast of it. The cast was wider than a human foot and too large to belong to any species of ape. While much of the evidence surrounding the existence of these apes is not scientifically proven, falling more into folklore, McKinnon believed that there was a strong possibility that a previously unknown ape species did in fact exist. The account of Ngoi Rung meeting American GIs in Vietnam was first published in Craig P.J. Jorgensen's Very Crazy GI, Strange but True Stories of the Vietnam War. Today these stories still exist, but many locals believed that the population of these creatures has been greatly reduced due to conflict and massive deforestation. Do they exist? Or are they just fictional creations or mythologies? Perhaps one way we will know, one way or the other.
We hope you enjoyed this segment of Forgotten History. Please click like and subscribe for free. And please stay tuned and be engaged and informed. Send us comments if you have questions or even show ideas, and we will respond to all requests and comments as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Indeed.
Son of a bitch, I forgot what I was going to say. Say something I remember.
But like I said, I have heard many tales of soldiers encountering creatures like this. It's almost always in incursions to the jungle. And again, they could have just encountered, apes that were frightened and wanted to, again, didn't want these soldiers near their homes. And because, like I said, because of the tension of the war, the stress, the heat, whatever they happen to be on, they saw them as something different. It's possible that there was an unknown species of, hominid or, ape type creature that may have been predatory. Uh, you really can't tell without any sort of verifiable scientific evidence, but it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility because, as we mentioned, we've heard stories of known animals coming out and becoming aggressive when their food source or when their homes are being destroyed or threatened. So it is certainly within the realm of possibility. I would seriously hate to be those poor soldiers because you have enough to worry about with gorillas in the soldier sense popping out of the jungle and trying to shoot you or whatever without having to worry about unknown monsters coming out and also trying to have you for dinner. But
Yeah.
again, of course, if you don't want to deal with their wrath, don't be in their home.
Right. Well, I guess they had orders to be there, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do know one thing that I can't hear you without them. I do know one thing that is a reason why Bigfoot pops up on every lunchbox and every movie and every thing in America is because Bigfoot is copyright free. No one owns copyrights to Bigfoot, so you can use him as free advertisement for anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Bigfoot sold. What the hell was it, Slim Jim or something? What the hell was the commercial where that damn Bigfoot was beef jerky or something?
Right. Then you have like Harry and the Hendersons. That's basically like a comedy about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You said there's no copyright and it's such an enduring legend. It's the combination. Yeah, it's going to be everywhere.
I mean,
and it is interesting that even when we have cameras everywhere and we've got phones with super high tech cameras, still can't get a clean, defined picture of Bigfoot. So, which on one hand is like, yeah, that does strike a blow to its credibility. But on the other hand, if something like that has managed to stay hidden, there's a reason for it. There are You can see footage sometimes they'll show like a jaguar, like in a place like India or something like that, where like these big cats, these predatory big cats, will come into the city like a lot of times at night, and you'll see just a couple walk by, and then all of a sudden, out of the shadow, here comes this jaguar, just sort of walking deliberately, and like people walk right past it. It'll just be stealthy enough to where they can't even see it, and it'll slip into the shadows if someone comes its way. So a lot of these animals, they know how to avoid being seen by humans. But
so it's like Guardians of the Galaxy where he's so ninja still that no one can see him.
master the art of remaining so still that invisible to the human eye. Yeah, that or sort of almost like Predator but without the cloaking. But yeah, it's very rare that like apes, like chimpanzees especially, have been known to attack humans because they're very unpredictable. There's usually things leading up to it that you can tell. Baboons have become man eaters and such, but it's very rare that any kind of ape will aggressively hunt or attack human beings for food or for any reason other than, this is my territory, get out. So again, if these people were attacked, it's very likely simply because the animals that they encountered were threatened and were frightened.
Right.
And I'm sorry. And again, like an angry ape is a terrifying sight, and under a normal thing, let alone when your nerves have already been, shot, by weeks or months or even years of battling.
I agree. So yeah, this is interesting. Send us a suggestion of a something you'd like us to check out, I have some more of these type stories already that are coming soon.
Yeah, we enjoy doing this sort of thing. So yeah, by all means, leave us a suggestion, leave us some comments. We always enjoy responding to those. And we hope you guys enjoyed this. If you see a strange animal, don't run at it waving a stick yelling. Give it its space. And try to make sure that your focus is on when you take its picture. No flash. No flash. That might set them off. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this. Thanks for sticking around. Got some more stuff coming up on the channel. More cool songs. More crazy stuff. Appreciate your time as always. Mental health is real. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And keep an eye on the shadows. Never know when there might be a jaguar. Love you.
Peace out. Where's the stop button? Oh.